What's going on, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome back to a brand new video. Little side note before we get started with today's topic. As always, you guys know we mainly do our basic stuff, the IRL stuff, you know, deck profiles, all that stuff, and we do these types of videos every now and then. But my main locals that I've been going to for about a year and a half now, I should say. Prior to the one that I basically went to from like late 2014 to like 2016, like almost 2017. That locals has sort of died down over the past year and a half, but the locals I've been going to now, one I've had to drive 40 minutes for, that one apparently is ending as well. The last tournament they'll be holding for Friday night Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff is on the 21st. So I right now don't like have a locals to go to anymore, but maybe, you know, the locals that I used to go to before the new one that's getting canceled currently, like, kind of like shut the other one down because of like how many people were going, so maybe that one will start back up again, hopefully. But I don't know how things are gonna look for that, so don't expect any duels from my locals. You have to basically expect duels that I'm gonna be able to record here, like I've been doing for the past couple months anyways, but I thought I'd get that out of the way. But what are we gonna talk about in this video? Mainly we're gonna be talking about the ban list, basically like an overview, my actual in-depth thoughts about it, because I wasn't able to give my full opinion in that quick video that I made. Obviously, the day that it released, I literally just got up out of bed to record that video. I kind of slept in really late. I hate doing that, but I woke up, literally the first thing I did was make a video about the ban list. Didn't have much time to make a fully fledged these are my thoughts type thing. And then I also want to go in and talk about basically some of the next up and coming decks of this format and sort of what's changed. You know, I wanted to give my piece on that, if you will. And also, I'm using my main camera, my actual DSLR camera, for my webcam here, so hopefully you guys notice a little quality increase. I don't know. We'll see. But let's go ahead and look over this. Obviously, we know Firewall Dragon, of course, has been banned, and that's all well and dandy. I think this is something, and I took a poll on this a couple days ago, and I was asking, you know, basically a general, like, our community asking, what's everybody's basic consensus on how they view the ban list? It was either good, indifferent, or bad. Majority said good. I think about like over like 350 votes or so, like I think like 70% said good, 20% said indifferent, and then like 10% said bad. And one of the main couple of comments I saw was basically Firewall Dragon, you know, it's great that it got hit, but it should have happened a while ago, and I do agree with that to an extent. If I'm gonna play devil's advocate, I think I have to say that I think Konami knew that the player base was mad that this card hadn't got hit for a long time, and now they were sort of just trying to milk is how far they could drag on this Firewall fiasco, and they drug it on for a pretty long time, because it's been maybe the past 2 to 3 ban lists that people have been wanting to see this card go. You know, we saw Goblin get banned first. Everybody thought Firewall was probably going to be the first Link monster to get banned, but it ended up being Nightmare Goblin, which I thought was a great hit for the time. But Firewall obviously still causing problems leading up out of those really nasty U-Links. And then following that, we saw the rise of the FTKs, which sort of took over and said, okay, Firewall's becoming the problem here. It's not the fact that you can make U-Links, because U-Links are sort of not an instant game ender. They're hard to break for sure. You got to draw right, buy your hand traps, etc., etc. Make sure you see them. Make sure you stop the right play. And side decking was huge against stopping, you know, these extra links. Some decks were hurt more or less than others, but the FTK, there's really not a whole lot you can do against some of these FTK, especially when people are playing Azathoth, literally stopping you from having any chance of interaction. So that was something that was starting to become a huge problem, and luckily they addressed it. So that's gone. I think it's good. I think Firewall Dragon being out of the game is very healthy. I don't think there's too much else to say there. And then nothing else was banned. If I'm being honest, I think now looking forward, I think a lot of us would like to see Topologic Gumblar Dragon banned, because you guys are aware of the new 2-card handloop, 2-card, 6-card handloop that is now going to be a thing. I think that's pretty sad to see that and I'm sure you've seen Team Sam's video. I watched Farfa's reaction video to that, his thoughts on that, and I just thought it was kind of crazy. I knew Gumblar was bad, but you know, I basically, I guess the point is, I knew Gumblar was bad in the fact that, like, a lot of decks, even Mermail, a lot of Dark Warrior decks and Goki decks can still pretty much make Gumblar Dragon. It's just, you know, getting a Link 4 on the board and then summoning some things to it, taking some cards out of your opponent's hands, etc., etc. A lot of decks are capable of doing that. It just takes a lot of, like, spam, Link spam and stuff like that. You know, Mermails can still do it with Moon Glacia. Gumblar's effects, they can still pull off U-Link, and, you know, using that sphere during your opponent's turn to rip that last card out of their hand. So, we knew Gumblar's been a problem, but I think Gumblar was sort of waiting in the wakes for a card like Firewall Dragon to finally be out of the spotlight now that it has been banned, and now we're sort of left looking for, you know, what else is causing major problems currently, and everybody can point their fingers to Gumblar Dragon now that Firewall is out of the way. And, you know, sort of Gumblar's been working his magic, if you will, in the shadows, you know, while Firewall Dragon takes all the blame. But now Gumblar has free reign to ruin the format, because he's sort of a lot worse when you think about it, because he's making it so you literally can't play the game when you get to go, because you have no cards in hand. That's really, really bad, obviously. So I think I would have liked to see him go. But I feel like, again, they'll do the same thing that they did with Firewall. They'll try to milk it as long as they can, try to sell that product, baby. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. But really not a whole lot we can do until that gets banned, obviously. Armageddon Knight going to 1, I think, is a nice check. Although it really doesn't matter too much, and the combo that I saw on Team Sam's video was basically the deck, and with Neo Space Connector and all that stuff, the 2-card FTK with Gumblar, you know, looping for 6, where you basically need Neo Space Connector and any, like, Warrior Extender. Armageddon Knight's actually being used twice, because you do summon him off I Sold, and then he gets banished off of that Phoenix Blade equip spell and gets summoned back via Leviair, of all things. I wouldn't expect Leviair to be in a combo like that nowadays. Even though I think he was using the Danger Dark World FTK to bring back things in case they got, like, called by it or whatever. I'm not entirely sure. But he gets brought back via, you know, the Leviair, and he gets used twice in this combo. So the fact that he's at 1 really doesn't make too big of a difference when you think about it, because I Sold is such a powerful card. It summons the card from deck, so you don't need to worry about opening Armageddon Knight. That's not really the problem. It's not really the consistency of seeing Armageddon Knight that's the big deal. More so, it was the consistency problem seeing it with the Firewall FTK, because I'm pretty sure all you need to do is open or get away to see, you know, your Armageddon Knight, which started the combo, you know, sending Mally, right? Starting that whole combo. I don't know every play, you know, play for play. I don't have that memorized. I didn't play against it too much, thankfully. But now Armageddon Knight's just being tutored out as if he was still at 3. It really might as well not matter what, you know, Armageddon Knight is at. And then, you know, Summon Sorceress is used as well in this. And I personally do like Summon Sorceress to an extent, because it helps out a lot of lower tier decks play a little better. But of course, you've got to look at the good of the whole, and not just, you know, me being a little biased towards the decks that I play. You know, Mermail, DDD, all these other decks that get helped out by Summon Sorceress. It's these bigger decks that are abusing it and ruining it for everybody else, essentially. And I would say hit I Soul, but I feel bad for all the, you know, all the Noble Knight players, because it's a Noble Knight card after all. I almost wish they didn't name it after a Noble Knight monster, so it would be easier for it to get hit. They can leave Summon Sorceress alone, because it's always I Sold, and then it's into Summon Sorceress, sort of completing that degenerate trio, especially once we get Needle Fiber. Needle Fiber, I Sold, and Summon Sorceress are going to all do all sorts of madness. For the time that they're around. Armageddon Knight, though, going to 1, I think it's a good hit, but, like, I feel like it's overreactionary, especially now that, like, the new FTK or whatever, and it sucks to hear that there's already a new FTK, especially the ban list has been just announced. You know, it's almost like it didn't matter that this card got hit, and I think that's the biggest issue in my mind. Banning this card makes that combo. I don't know if it makes it impossible. Somebody will probably know in the comments, but I feel like it makes it a lot harder to do. I guess Armageddon Knight probably should have went to 0. But again, maybe they knew that this was coming down the line. You know, you never know. And that ended up, I think, also being the only other card to get limited. And then we go down to the semi-limit where we see Destiny Hero Malicious again going to 2. And I don't even think that new FTK uses Malicious. So, and here's the thing with Malicious. Again, I'll kind of play devil's advocate. This card, in a format like Link format, where monsters that float into summoning other monsters that are so powerful as they are, especially with how Links just interact with the game. You don't need matching levels, you don't need synchros, you don't need a fusion spell to make these monsters. It's literally sometimes just 2+ monsters that combine into another monster that allow you to make more plays, put things into the graveyard that in other cases you wouldn't normally be able to do. And a perfect example for that is like linking with a Malicious that you summoned off of Malicious. Like how else would you just gotten your Malicious to the grave for free without some sort of removal effect? There really was never any way to do that, and now there is. You just link them to the grave, and then now it's in grave and you use again. You can link climb, and it makes this card much more potent. So I think it going to 2 is good, just because the simple fact it can be used in literally any deck to just link climb, which in some cases can get a little out of hand, like in a lot of really combo heavy FTK decks, like the ones that we've seen, ones that we might see in the future. And I think that overall it's a good hit. I think it just needed to happen. But just looking back with this Armageddon Knight thing, like again, I feel like it didn't really matter if it went to 3, to 2, to 1, because like in the most prevalent FTK, that's probably going to be making up the next bit of the format until when is this ban list update again? It's supposed to update past any day after January 21st, 2019. I feel like Armageddon Knight will still continue to cause problems just because not really the nature of his effect that is so busted when we compare it to a card like Gumblar Dragon, a sold Summon Sorceress. Its effect isn't that great, right? It's just a glorified Foolish Burial. In most cases, you would have to use your normal summon to get on the field. Isold says otherwise, but it's just sort of being guilt by association again. It's being used for really degenerate stuff. So instead of hitting the stuff that makes it degenerate, they just ban this card instead. I kind of wish they would have just banned Armageddon Knight now, knowing what we know now going forward with this fucking Neo-Spacian connector garbage that is coming down the line. It just absolutely disgusts me. I don't really watch Team Samurai that much, but I clicked on that video. I was very intrigued with it. I thought it was a really good video on his part. And I thought it pointed out all the points very, very well. It's just one problem's gone, and then it said now there's immediately another one. It's a dangerous card with Links being it's sort of like what happened with Gofu. Gofu, like no one ever gave a shit about Gofu before Links came out, but then it was like, oh, it's a 1-card Decode Talker. It's a 1-card Link 3 still to this day if it were to ever come back. Like a lot of cards are taking the sharp end of the stick in Link format just because of how poorly the Link mechanic was designed, and I think it just all goes back to that. And just how easily abused the system can be. So like cards like Malicious can be used to link climb like crazy and used in link spam decks, and constantly regenerating cards to your field to use to link more and more and things like that. You know, that's cards like Gofu were banned, and like cards like Level Eater could be so devastating had they come back, you know, if they were still legal, you know, like things like that. I guess things that can be easily spammed out to the field and yada yada yada. And what's another thing? I wish this card would have came back to 2, because honestly, this card is such like, it's so mediocre nowadays with all the hand traps and negations that we have. It like ever hardly goes through. And Neptibus in most cases is almost always a better bet than Diva. The only reason I want this to come back is to make synchros a bit more prevalent. And maybe they will, because Savage Strike is going to hopefully have a lot of synchro support in it, and it already looks like it is going to. Maybe we'll see Needle Fiber come out, and however good or bad that will interact with the game, who knows? It doesn't look like it's going to be too good. Again, just adding easier access to all the spam that we've seen nowadays. And actually, I do plan to make a video on Deep Sea Diva in general in a, you know, one of those What Would series where we talked about, you know, the Dragon Rulers, we talked about Spellbook of Judgment, And I think I'm pretty sure those are the only topics we've talked about. Oh, Yatagarasu as well. I plan to make a separate video about Deep Sea Diva as well, and maybe just maybe a video just about I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself. And then we have these cards here that did obviously make their way off of the list completely. A Assault Core. I feel like this obviously has to come back because obviously Firewall is no longer around to abuse it. And again, it's just really bad that ABC players had to suffer for a couple months because they had to take the faults for Firewall's wrongdoings, and this card had to go to 1 for a couple of months, and that really sucked if you're an ABC player. I can imagine if like if I don't know, some card in like DDD got hit to 1 for a month because it was being abused by some other powerful deck that used it in accordance with some really busted card like Summon Sorcerer's Isolde or Firewall. Like, it's just clear, you know. I just hopefully in the future we can see better card design. We can see less multiple return use abuse things, and we won't see cards like a Assault Core, for Christ's sakes, getting hit to 1 because of Firewall Dragon, which could have just been banned so many months ago. And the thing with Firewall, I will say this now, and this is probably clear for a lot of people, like, this card is never coming back unless it gets eroded. Because if it comes back further down the road when we have even more stuff to work with, like, it's just gonna, same problems are gonna happen again. Especially since Cannon Soldier and Grappa are still legal, which obviously they're not nearly as potent now as just with Firewall is gone, because that's how they were abused. But anyways, moving on, Cosmo Dart Destroyer. Again, I don't think this list is, relevant. I know a lot of Cosmo fanboys, especially in my Discord. By the way, join Discord if you haven't, link in the description. But a lot of Cosmo fans out there, and I can see them being very happy about this going to 3. Of course, like I was happy when Dragoons went to 3, or, you know, when Norden came out, right? You're getting support from one of your favorite decks, or maybe one day when Diva comes to 2 or 3, I'll be ecstatic. Every Mermail player will tell you how happy they are that it came back to 3, and they will not shut up about it. So I apologize for that in advance. Just like I had to hear every Cosmo player who came into my stream. By the way, follow me on Twitch, link in the description. We're streaming every Saturday, Sunday, Monday. But I had to hear this a lot. You know, oh, Dart Destroyer is back to 3. I can't wait to play some more Cosmo, which is, again, totally understandable. It's just like the deck didn't do anything while it was at 2, so of course they brought it back to 3, and it's probably still not going to do anything. It's Dart Destroyer. Like, of course, power creep is a thing, so of course a deck like Cosmo isn't going to be nearly as good now as it was back in the day when, of course, it was the top deck, the deck to beat. Very, very powerful, especially with E-Telly. And what is E-Telly? Is E-Telly still at 1? I'm pretty sure it is. I just need to check. I'm looking at the banned cards. Where are the at 1 cards? There it is. Emergency Teleport. It's limited. So yeah, not too many changes probably gonna happen there with the Destroyer coming back to 3, and we'll just I just don't think it will make that big of a difference. And again, we'll move on here to the last card on the list, the last change, the 6th and final change that we saw to this very, very small list. Some people were speculating as like an emergency ban list, which I don't know if I'd call it that. Maybe they're just like, yeah, we don't need to hit anything else, lol, and then Gumblar, blah, blah, blah. But called by, it's one of those cards that it's like, it's great for everybody else that hates hand traps. It's great for the rest of the player base that hates getting hand trapped to death. It's great for the rest of the player base that is sick of losing to a hand trap or just getting hand trapped numerous times in a turn and with having like literally nothing to say about it. Whether it be you're a tier 3 deck or you're like a tier 1 deck, everyone has had a play ruined by a hand trap, and everyone probably has lost to a hand trap at this point, just because like looking at a card like Ash Blossom, the card negates so many things. I don't know why it was like printed like that. It just negates so many things. Like it doesn't just stop like special summoning a monster from the deck, right? When your opponent would special summon a monster from the deck, negate it. No. It's when it summons from the deck, when it sends from the deck, or when it adds from the deck to the hand. Like, why does it have to have those 3 things on there? Like, it's just like, why do we have to go down the route where everything now needs to be activated from the hand, like Impermanence, Ash, Bell, like Ogre, Droll, Valor, like, it's all started with Ghost Ogre, then we got Ghost Ash, and then, or Ash Blossom, and then we got Ghost Bell. Like, I hope we don't get any more, because, and you know, Infinite Impermanence sort of disguising itself as a hand trap, but they put it in the form of an actual trap. And you need a card like Called By to counter, these things, because the what else counters, you know, hand traps other than just like blatantly playing around them, which in most cases you can't always do. Like, just play around it, dude. Just play around it. Just don't lose to the Ash, lol. Just don't do it, man. Like, and the other argument is like, well, Called By should still be at 2 or should be even at 1, because like all these really powerful FTK decks can abuse it, because they can stop them from getting hand trapped, because now your opponent opens 2 hand traps. Well, here's the simple solution to that. Why is it to the point where, you know, these FTKs, these combo decks are getting so powerful to the point where Called By makes them almost unstoppable? Like, these decks should just obviously not exist in the first place. Again, like, comparing a card like Called By the Grave to a card like Topological Gumblar Dragon, like, Called By the Grave doesn't seem like that great of a card. It just banishes something, negates it, and neither player can use it for the rest of the turn, so it has that balance to it. It's not like it's a one-sided thing, like, I negated your copy of XYZ, and I can still use mine, right? It's sort of very helpful in a format where everybody's sort of trying to play the same card, i.e. hand trap. So, like, it sort of like reduces the potency of just being like, I have the hand trap, I went second, and you lose now. Sorry about that, man. There's nothing else you could do. It's not like you could strike my Ash Blossom, especially when you're going first, because obviously you can't use strike when you get the point. So, like, again, this card should not have to suffer at the hand of degenerate FTK decks that abuse it and make it so much more powerful than it actually is. So that's my piece on Call. But I think coming back to 3 is good. And just, like, fix the bigger issues, not like the little small things, right? You know, I feel like that's just kind of common sense. And that's sort of what I had to say about the ban list. And going forward, obviously, I wanted to talk about, you know, the next best decks, like the top 5 decks going into this next format with this list being in place. Obviously, Striker, of course, still going to be up there. Trickstar is now allowing to be sort of more relevant now with Firewall being gone. They probably had a very hard time against U-Links and stuff like that. You know, now that that's gone, like, they can actually sort of be a viable strategy. Thunder Dragons, of course, going to be up there. Very, very good deck. This Neo-Spacian Loop deck is going to be nuts. Again, like, apparently the combo is just this and any warrior extender like Junk Forward or whatever. And then pretty much any, like, Gumblar abusing deck, like Dark Warrior Link spam decks that are going to abuse Gumblar or whatever. Like, this is pretty much going to be the format. I feel like it's going to be these 2 decks sort of battling it out. Maybe we'll see Thunder Dragon up there as well. I feel like this is your top 3. Your Sky Strikers, your Neo Space decks, and then your Thunder Dragons. I feel like that's what we're going to see going forward. I feel like Trickstar is good and all, but again, unless they go first and they, like, open up the stones against a deck like this or this, like, they're going to have a hard time, especially when the deck like this, you know, is taking 6 cards out of your hand, and leaving you with none. So therefore, you cannot play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is something that should not happen. There should not be a point in the game, and I love this game, but I hate it sometimes because there should not be a point, and I hate that it's gotten to the point where it exists, that, like, people can literally not play the game, and it ruins the game for them, it ruins the experience for a lot of people, and yet it just slides right by on the ban list. Like, here's Konami, like, here's Gumblar, boom, right over their fucking heads. So I hope this problem is schmited from the game ASAP, Rocky. And if we had to wait till January 21st, maybe we could just no, we can't boycott Gumblar, because then they won't ban it, because then there'll be no outcry for it. So actually, everybody play the shit out of this card. Everybody hand loop each other to death. Everybody get really mad at each other. And yeah, like, just get this card banned, alright? Because, like, apparently we didn't do a good enough job with Firewall. It took them so long. Like, just make it known to Konami that this is ruining the game. Because, like, whatever the YCS, that's YCS Milan or whatever. Can't remember the exact one. But like this, I feel like this is going to be everywhere now that is actually officially out. It's the 7th right now, December 7th on Friday. Like the special editions are out. This card is here. So, you know, be ready for it, if you will. Be very, very ready. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did. Don't forget to check out our sponsor, Imperium Duelist, down in the link in the description. You can check out that code there if you'd like. Join Discord if you haven't already. Hit up those social medias if you like for some other updates outside of YouTube, etc., etc. Let me know what you guys... What are your thoughts now about the ban list going forward, now that I've had my time to actually give my opinion on this? In another future video, I plan to talk about some other things related to the game right now, some reprints, some news stuff, if you will, sort of to blend in with the other content that's going up. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you didn't. As always, Winter Kill signing out. We'll see you in the next one.